Hello dear students, today we will discuss about ecosystems. Now what are ecosystems? In the previous video I taught you what is ecology. Ecology is the study of the interaction amongst the participants within a ecosystem. So ecosystem is much more practical compared to ecology. Ecology is a philosophical point of view in which we tell that there is an interaction going on between various biotic and abiotic components within the environment. In ecosystem, we classify, we break down the entire environment for our ease to study it properly for our betterment. We classify with certain boundaries and we use these participants and case studies to understand the interactions that are going on. So ecosystems are a much more practical term. Now, for example, this is a pond, a small pond. You must have seen them across various places in the world. There is a depression in water via rain or via rivers gets accumulated here, forming a pond. Now, what can you find in a pond? You will have microorganisms. These are called planktons. After these microorganisms, you will have small fishes. You will have grass growing, and you will have bigger fishes. You will also have some amphibians such as frogs, snakes, etc. So these are our biotic components: planktons, fish, the grass that grows, larger fish, other amphibians. They all come under the biotic components. Abiotic components are there is sunlight that is affecting the pond, and the pond water, its water itself is another abiotic component, and we have various gases that are mixed up in the water such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc. So these are all the abiotic components of the pond ecosystem. So this is a typical example of an ecosystem in which we find biotic and abiotic components interacting with each other. We broadly classify ecosystems into two major parts. First are the terrestrial ecosystems. The next one is the aquatic ecosystem. All ecosystems that we find on this planet can be broadly classified into these main headings. Terrestrial essentially means on land. So all the ecosystems that are present above water on the land, that is the continents of our planet, are called as terrestrial ecosystem. Your pond ecosystem, your grassland ecosystem, your tree ecosystem, all these that are above water are called as terrestrial ecosystems. Now aquatic, the name itself suggests under water. See, pond is an example of underwater because we study the ecological importance of a pond which is related within the water. You have your oceans, you have lakes, you have rivers. These are all prime examples for the aquatic ecosystems. Now next we will study pyramids. See, these are pyramids which pertain to ecology and environment, not the Great Pyramids of Giza. If they are not architectural pyramids, these are pyramids created by various scholars to understand ecology and ecosystems better. So first, the most important pyramid is the pyramid of energy. See, we all require energy to survive. Now the streaming device that you are using, your fans, your lights, etc., they cannot run on their own. They need electricity, a power source that will power them in order for them to function. So in the similar way, all the biotic components on our planet, we animals, plants, etc., we require energy. Now where do we derive this energy? It is from the sunlight. All energy that is received by us comes from the sunlight. Now let us study how does it actually happen. In a pyramid, we have a base called as producers. Producers are the base of all ecosystems. It is because without producers, the next levels of organisms will not exist. What is the job of these producers? Example, plants, planktons, etc. Their job is to trap the energy. They use sunlight and carbon dioxide to fix energy within themselves. They produce energy using the help of the sunlight. Say 100% of energy is been emitted by the sun. 10% is lost by us during various processes that occur within a plant, and these plants will have 90% of that energy. Next, from after the plants, we have something called as primary consumers. All your herbivorous animals or animals that are dependent upon producers, grass, vegetables, fruits, etc., they come under primary consumers. Now these primary consumers, they eat the producers in order to gain energy that is coming from the sun. So when the energy is transferred from producer to primary consumer, only 10% of the energy that was with the producers will get transferred to the primary consumers. This is because of loss. There is lot of loss of energy when during the consumption activity. When these primary consumers consume the producers, they are incapable of extracting the total percentage of energy that is left with the producers. Therefore, there is only 10% of energy from the producers that goes to the primary consumers. Now, after primary consumers, we have secondary consumers. See, this is grass. We have grasshopper that will consume grass, and this grasshopper is consumed by the frog. So here frog becomes the secondary consumer. Again, whatever energy is present with the primary consumer, only 10% of it will reach the secondary consumer. After that, we have the tertiary consumers that are, for our example, let us take frog is being consumed by snake. Snakes eat frogs. Therefore, they derive the energy that is present with the frog. So, again, only 10% of energy from the frog is transferred to the snake. Those become your tertiary consumer. After that, we have the last part of the puzzle, that is the quinary or quaternary consumers. This is the last part of the consumption. The snake is finally consumed by the eagle. Now again only 10% of the energy that is present with the snakes gets transferred to the eagle. Now why are there no organisms or species in this planet that do not consume eagle? It might be eagle, it might be your lion, it might be your tiger. All the quaternary consumers, they do not have natural predators. No one is interested in eating them. It is because of the energy quotient. I told you only 10% of energy gets transferred from the base levels. So therefore the energy in itself is getting depleted. So when you finally reach the quaternary consumers, there is simply no logic behind consuming a quaternary animal, because it will not have any energy to transfer above. So 100% of the energy will come down to only 1%. This is also a rule called as the 1% rule. Since, see, if there is 100% received from the sun, the topmost predator will only get 1% of the energy. So this is your triangle of energy. Here energy is highest in the base, that is with the producers. Producers have the highest amount of energy. Next you have primary consumers. See, a grasshopper will eat a lot of 10 to 15 strands of grass to sustain itself, whereas a frog will eat only 1, 2, 4, 5 grasshoppers to sustain itself, whereas a snake might consume 1 or 2 frogs to sustain itself. Same way eagle will consume only 1 snake to sustain itself. In the same way, energy, 100% energy from the sun reaches the top level predator, and it is only 1% that reaches the top. So this is your energy pyramid. Now the next pyramid is, see, there is a rule, the energy pyramid either in terrestrial or in aquatic ecosystem will always be upright, in the sense the base will have the highest energy and the top will have the least energy. This can never be inverted in a energy pyramid. Next is our pyramid of numbers. Pyramid of numbers is also the same. You have a lot of grass, acres of grass. Let us take the example of savanna grasslands. You have acres full of grass present. Above that we have only a little quantity of deers. See, grass can be, stands of grass can be in millions, whereas the population of deer is comparatively low compared when we compare it to grass. Then the next will be wolves. Your wolves, fox, etc. They will also be less. The population would be less compared to the deer and the grass. Finally, your apex predators, that is lion and tiger, they will be the least. They will be least populated. You take any grassland, you will always find the population of grass is always greater than the population of deer. The population of deer is always greater than the population of the top carnivores. Why does this system exist? It is because only 10% of energy is getting transported. So with that less amount of energy, a huge population will not be suitable. Therefore, there are less quaternary consumers compared to the producers. This is your pyramid of numbers. Now, this pyramid is not essentially upright. There are certain scenarios where this pyramid can become inverted. Now, for example, let us take the ecosystem of a tree. In a tree ecosystem, you will have only one tree. ecosystem of a tree, we will consider a tree itself as an ecosystem. Therefore, you will have only one producer. Next, you will have beetles, other insects. So, here it will get inverted. Here, the number of insects or bugs will be greater compared to the number of producers. So, the pyramid of numbers can be inverted in certain scenarios. Now, the next pyramid is pyramid of biomass. Biomass is nothing but the dry weight of all the organisms present within the ecosystem. Dry weight essentially means you suck out all the liquid. You subtract the liquid weight and use the dry weight for, in simple sense, you can call it as the weight of the individual components of an ecosystem. Now, biomass, there is a, if we take aquatic ecosystems, we have plankton. They are the producers of the aquatic ecosystem. Next, we have smaller fish. We have another type of plankton that will consume the photoplankton, and there is a group of fishes, small fishes. Then we have medium sized fish. Then finally, we have the large fish such as sharks, orcas. All your orcas are also called killer whales. So, these will be your apex predators of the aquatic ecosystem. Here, when we compare their weight, when we add all the weight of the plankton compared to the weight of the shark, in this case, you will find an inverted scenario. The biomass of phytoplanktons will be greater compared to the biomass of sharks and orcas. These are the type of ecosystems and also the important pyramids that are involved in the study of these ecosystems. Thank you.